Hello, everyone, and my name is Arvind Tripathi, and I work for University of Auckland Business School. I had a chat with Prasanna, who is organizing um, the global conference on innovations in management and business in India this year in July, and uh, and so he asked me that there's a pre-conference workshop about meet the editors. And so in that workshop, they are planning to invite editors from different journals in different roles and to help young scholars that how they prepare their manuscript and the process that they need to go through in order to publish in top tier journals. And so along those lines, Prasanna asked me to record a short video of 10-15 minutes about how do I see and comment and help develop manuscript that are submitted to the journal that I serve as editor. So in this case, in particular, I would talk about from my experience at Palms. So I'm a senior editor at Productions and Operations Management Journal. Palms is a FT50 journal. It's very respected journals and operations management field. And Palms has many different areas as well. So for example, operations management interface with information systems, with finance, accounting, and so on. And so I am a senior editor in one of those track where that is a POM interface with information systems. So I will talk about two things. One is motivation, and second is contribution of the work. These are two comments that I see repeatedly in any paper review process from the reviewers. And so I think it's definitely important to strengthen these two areas, and probably strengthening these two will also strengthen other parts of your paper, right? So the first question comes to motivation that so when writing your paper, you need to sufficiently motivate your research question. You need to answer question that why answering this research question is important. Now, both from practice perspective and from academic literature perspective. So how do you bring these perspective? From practice perspective, you can bring, say, statistics from popular press, the demand for or need for answering such a question. And from academic literature, you can cite or refer to literature where people talk about similar questions and then they say, well, this needs to be answered as well. So overall, in nutshell, what I want to say is that the research question that you're trying to answer in your paper should be motivated enough. Why do we need to read that paper from author's perspective, from reader's perspective? And so that is very important. The second comment that I see very often in most of the paper revision process is the contribution of this work and where this work, how this work fits in the literature. Now, what happens is, of course, for your research question, people look at the literature that has addressed similar questions, or again, something that is in your area. Now, you have to clearly articulate that what has been addressed in the literature and what is missing. And so once you identify what is missing that you are trying to address here, is that really important? Again, from practice perspective and from academic literature perspective. So often what we see, again, sticking to or discussing about the literature review part of the paper, that many authors, they will, yes, they will read a great deal of literature in the area that their question fits. They will, let's say they're reading 5, 10, 15 papers. They will read papers and they say, so and so has said this and done this. So and so have said this and done this. Now, literature review is not about the blobs or like few lines or a paragraph from each paper. That's basically sounds like a summary from different papers. Literature review should be used to motivate your research question. You have to discuss or make a case that what these papers, so what is the underlying narrative? What is the underlying research question that these bunch of papers they are trying to address? What they have addressed so far and what is missing? And what is missing, is that critical? Is that important for researchers and for practice? So these are the important things that one needs to pay attention. Now, the next thing is what I would recommend, that if you have not submitted a paper to POMS, or let's say, for example, management science or any other journal, a good idea is that you look at few papers published in that journals and that are closer to your work. So use them as model paper. Use the structures of those papers as model paper. Um, Paper using different methodology, they have slightly different structure. So you can find papers that are using similar methodologies as yours, and then follow the structure of those papers when you're writing your own. That will certainly help you a lot. Um, Other thing is you can certainly work with people. If you have, say, for example, again, I'll give example for POMS. So if you have never published at POMS before, or management science, or some of these top journals, these are FT50 journals. So then you can work with people, those who have done so. And so that will definitely help. Many times when we are working on a research question, we think we have answered or addressed the question in the best way possible. But someone who has published quite a bit in those journals can probably help you guide, or again, structure or phrase your answers in a better way, connect your work with the literature in a better way than if you don't have experience. Uh, that will be hard for you to do on your own. And then the final thing is that, again, the as I said, the contribution part, you have to not just dump your results. You have to explain how your results address the missing part in the literature, how your result answer questions that haven't been answered, or if they have been answered, how your results are different. Whether they connect, agree with what we have in the literature, or they disagree, or they're different. And if they are, well, you explain why, right? Instead of just dumping the results. So editors and readers, they're looking for not just your tables and tables of these results or proofs and lemmas. People want to know the underlying story, reasoning behind that, that why do you see these results? That is very, very important. So what we do is, usually at POMS, when we get paper, usually the paper goes out for review to three reviewers. Reviewers give feedback on the paper. And unless paper has some serious flaws that cannot be addressed in a short period of review period time of 6 months or 8 months, then we unfortunately have to reject the paper, and based on the recommendation of the reviewers. If reviewers see potential and see that things can be fixed in a reasonable amount of time, then we send it out for give authors a chance to revise and resubmit, and then the process starts. And so it could go for multiple rounds of revision till all the comments or questions from the review teams are addressed, right? Um, and I'm sure that you would see videos from other editors as well. And so I wish you good luck for your effort in writing and submitting and getting your paper published in a good or top tier journal. And I remember that Prasanna asked me that there will be a live chat with me on 26th of July. And so I look forward to that live chat as well. If there are any questions, and if you are there, I would be happy to answer questions. Besides that, if you have any question And regarding POMs, I would be more than happy to answer. You can send an email to me directly and we'll try my best to answer your question. Okay, thank you. And good luck for your research project that you're working on.